Welcome to the Steelers Realm Podcast. And now, here are the boys of Steelers Realm.
Good evening, Steelers Nation. Football season is finally in full swing. Just coming off of a game here this past Saturday. Welcome, Steelers Nation, to Steelers Realm Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, JT, joined by the trifecta of talent tonight, beginning with on the other side of the border, deep in the heart of Browns country. It is the one and only famous TA. What's up, man?
Trifecta of talent? Boy, you give us way too much credit, JT. Way too much credit. I'm doing great, buddy. I'm ready to break some stuff down here, man. Only thing I'm sad about, it's the last day of camp at St. Vincent.
I know. And we never really hit our goal for that either. But anyhow, joining us back from the half living dead, it is CJ, man. Welcome back, brother. Good to have you on again.
Feels great to be back. I just kind of want to take this time. There's a local Little League team that's participating from me in the Little League World Series. I think that's a testament to those kids, those parents, and that community rallying around them and giving them the support that they need. Best of luck to the Hollidaysburg Little League team, who's actually playing right now as we record. So, shout out to them for all the hard work that they've put in this season, and hopefully they can come out with a victory.
Time out here, CJ.
Yeah,
what do you mean they're playing for you? I mean, like are you their donor?
No, they're not playing for me. I just kind of threw it out there. You know what? Let's support these kids. It's awesome. It's cool. It's different. There's not too many kids here in Western PA who's got a chance to get a Little League World Series, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah, and that's tough. And honestly, I think what age group is that?
11 and 12.
11, 12. We played those guys. They're tough, man. That ended our season early. That would be their 12U though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool
Good
for those guys. They went out and they did your job, and you know what? They're getting rewarded for it. And I just don't think personally myself, I don't think you see the community support behind the scenes that goes into something like that they're doing there. So everyone behind the scenes there in Hollidaysburg, congrats to you guys.
Great. Good shout out to Hollidaysburg Little League, man. Thanks for bringing that up too. Hey, I want to give a shout out to Freight Train off tonight. Probably out having a good old time, buddy. We'll catch you next week. But anyhow, the trifecta of talent is here, man.
Do we have to catch him next week?
No, we don't have to.
Maybe the train will run off the rails.
Or who knows? Maybe that
there might be a train wreck in Brea, Ohio next week. You never know.
Just busting your balls, Freight Train.
Yeah, buddy. It's all good, man. So hey, we're in between two games. It's great to talk about some actual football, guys. We had a lot of fun last weekend watching the game. We actually, for the first time, watched a game at the Pink Chicken Bar and Grill. And I tell you what, by the third quarter, we were pretty well into one too. So my recollection of the game starts to diminish as we get into the fourth quarter. But anyhow, hey, we pulled out a great win. Kenny Pickett with a nice little touchdown pass, a little hook and run, and it made it into the end zone. All three quarterbacks did great, man. What was your take on the game overall? TA, let's kick it off, man.
Well, first of all, JT, I mean, the whole summer, the whole year has been about quarterbacks. And you'd like to think that we may have separated ourselves from it, but in all actuality, man, all three quarterbacks did a fantastic job. They all had over 100 passer rating. I mean, Trubisky was the one who got the fewest attempts. He only had 4 for 7 in a TD. Rudolph went 9 for 15 with a TD, and Pickett went 13 for 15 for 2 TDs. Now, I've been sitting here trying to comb the old internet because I cannot recall, JT, the last time in my lifetime we went into a preseason game with 3 quarterbacks that all scored a touchdown.
Yeah, that would be an interesting statistic to look up. I don't remember a time.
No, so I mean, as far as where we're at on this quarterback race, I mean, let's face it. I mean, truth be told, it's going to be Trubisky. Second thing be told, you got to kind of feel bad a little bit for Mason. The guy comes out there, he gets the old boo berg. Kenny comes out there, and you'd have thought that he had just got knighted by the Queen of England herself. And on top of that, the whole atmosphere of Acrisure Stadium was just rocking as if this was an AFC championship game. I mean, tell
Yeah,
me
really was. Really
that
was.
Steelers Nation just ain't ready for some football this year.
Oh, no. No, we're ready. I think this was a unique offseason, too, guys. I don't know. What stood out to you, CJ?
I think, and to build off, what TA said, there was a weird vibe. You could audibly hear the boo birds for Mason when he came in, right? To me, I think this whole quarterback competition comes down to this. Mitch, he's a starter. Can Kenny show that he can command enough of the offense to be the backup? Right? I think in his first preseason game, he made the reads, he made quick throws, he got the ball out. He showed enough.
And let's not forget, he got tossed around like a little Raggedy Ann doll,
he
too.
did. He did. Hey, 2 out of those 3 possessions that he had, he scored a touchdown, though. One thing, though, that I'm looking at here is we're going to be looking around the NFL, I think, after next week, after next Sunday's game against the Lions, and it's going to be one of those things where we trade Mason. Who's he going to? Yeah. And it's kind of a sad thing because Mason's done nothing but come in, be the consummate pro, handle everything right from the media. He just hasn't performed well enough to be the starter. And that's not his fault. He's never been given a fair chance.
Nah, not
at the
really.
same time,
Eddie DeMin.
We'll leave it at this. At the end of the day, the last thing you want is your first round quarterback sitting on the sideline holding a clipboard wearing shorts from a media perspective. So we'll leave it at that. I thought all 3 quarterbacks played well. Mason honestly made the best throw of the game.
And quite honestly, he overcame the most adversity. I mean, first snap of the game, right off the bat, the offensive line fell apart. Almost could have been a strip sack fumble. Mason composed himself and delivered. You got to kind of hand it to him.
Nope, I completely agree with that.
Well, leading rusher McFarland, 7 attempts, 56 yards. He wasn't the only one putting up a good show, though, I don't think.
Oh, no, man. I tell you what, we might have been worried about running backs going into this. I'm not afraid anymore. The only sad news that I got today is we got rid of Master Teague because, of course, it looks like he's got a high ankle sprain and he's in a boot. So we ended up cutting him and we picked up some joker from the Broncos who isn't going to amount to nothing. But Jalen Warren, my God, he reminds me of Maurice Jones-Drew out there. I mean, that kid was just hammering the ball. And then you go ahead and you throw in even Steven Sims. Man, that guy's got some wheels. That punt return he had.
No kidding, man. No kidding.
I mean, and then you throw in even Gunner. Gunner was our leading receiver. Holy smokes, we got some talent.
So Anthony McFarland's going to be he's done for the year with his injury. I think Gunner is going to end up
Anthony
making the
McFarland?
team.
Wait a
Yeah,
second.
not Anthony McFarland, Anthony Miller. I apologize.
Yeah,
Wrong
you
Anthony.
had me scared. Now
Mhm.
wait a minute, CJ. We're going from running backs to wide receivers.
You mentioned about Gunner. I think that solidifies his spot on the team. That injury, and when it comes to running back,
For
I
him,
think
you mean for him?
yeah,
For
I
Gunner?
think that
Yeah.
solidifies that puts him in the top 5, and he's very safe. When it comes to McFarland, that is something we have not seen from him since he came in the NFL. That was
Okay.
kind of what we were promised. We were going to see quick burst. We were going to see a quick running back, kind of a scat back. And he finally showed that potential for the first time since he was drafted. I feel good about the backup running position. And at the end of the day, these guys are going to get 3 to 5 carries a game. It shouldn't be something that should be overanalyzed.
So
Yeah. Mark that.
and we'll talk more about this here in a minute in camp, but I want to circle back around to this. But the one thing that I want to say, leading back to the quarterbacks, would we really be talking about how well Kenny did or how bad of an offensive play calling it was on what we thought was going to be the final series by Kenny Pickett? It was obvious that Teague had the first down. Tomlin argued, I want another spot. They didn't give it to him. And then Canada calls a pass play.
It was just such a weird. It was such a weird. How do I want to say this? First off, I have no clue how they didn't review that play. And second off, Mark Robinson then bails out Canada for a horrible play call. I don't, and I look at it like this. It's preseason, whatever. They're looking to see, can Kenny Pickett do this more than can we gain a yard? Right. They're going to learn more from the result of that play versus the effort of that play. I don't look too much into it. Mark Robinson made a play who Bill Hillgrove said is our guy. He said he's going to be the guy that surprises and who's you need to watch out for. So I don't pay too much attention to that stuff, but Mark Robinson really saved Matt Canada's ass when it comes to
he did.
what it would look like, on the fan and so on and so forth. But me personally, it's one of those things. They're trying to develop guys.
Well, let's do this. Let's get into camp in a little bit. But I want to give a shout out to one of our guys. We just keep trying to connect with him. But anyhow, I want to give a big shout out to Willie Hobbs. He's a Pittsburgh City sports artist. If you haven't seen his stuff, guys, definitely go out to his site. He's at My Time, Your Time with a U. MyTimeYourTime.com. You can see that link there. We'll put it in our podcast, though. But check out Willie. He's got some great connections, too. We should be having more news on some other guests coming up, or at least some interaction with some other former players coming up. And I'll want to give Willie a shout out for those connections as well, too. So it's all about network and Steeler Nation. And go out and check out some of his work. It's fantastic. And, of course, one of our latest ones we'll put out there as well, too, that he donated a couple prints from us. We're going to get one signed, and I think maybe we'll do a giveaway with the other one, guys. What do you think about that? Do a little giveaway with the other one, the helmet one?
Yeah, let's let it fly.
Okay. All right. More to come on that, Steeler Nation. So listen for that. But anyhow, check out our guy, Willie Hobbs. He also has some cool tunes. He's a music writer, too. You didn't know that. But My Time, Your Time, Willie Hobbs, Pittsburgh sports artist, does a great job too, man. He's got some great stuff out there. So shout out to him. Let's jump into camp, man. Moving forward. Last day of camp. Bummer. Man,
I bet you the players have never been happier.
I don't know.
Bummer for the fans, happiness for the players.
They're ditching those dorm rooms for their luxury apartments as we speak.
Hey, that may be, but I'm just wondering, is Tomlin going to take the lobster, crab cakes, and shrimp scampi back to Pittsburgh with him? I mean, that was pretty cool what we heard on the radio there, that they've had a little battle going back and forth for the mess hall.
It is amazing how Tomlin can take something as simple as food and meals and everything like
Make a
that and
challenge
turn
out
it
of
into a massive competition.
I
It
mean,
is amazing.
it is pretty ingenious. But the one thing he also come back out and said this week is, he's already knows who's going to go ahead and start at quarterback. So you're going to have Trubisky in there probably for about another 7 attempts, and then he's going to give way to Pickett. He wants to see Pickett in a little varsity action. Now, of course, that doesn't bode well for Mason, and Mason's not too happy about it. But I'm kind of interested in just to see what he can do with the seconds.
I actually don't think this is a bad thing for Mason. Right? Last week when we saw Pickett, we saw him with the third stringers against third stringers, right? He was making very quick reads because the O-line in front of him is a bunch of guys. They're going to be mechanics next week, right? I think this is a chance.
They can't be carpenters?
I mean, they can be whatever the hell they want, but they're not going to be professional offensive linemen.
Okay.
I think this is kind of one of those things where, hey, Kenny, if you really want to be the backup, we need to see this again, and we need to see it in a different way. I think we're going to see 3 to 5 step drops. I think we're going to see they're going to want him to make that second read and see if he can actually do it at the NFL level. There's going to be a big difference.
Well, and here's something else we're going to see too. We're going to see Chase Claypool. We're going to see Deontay Johnson. And even though Trubisky may come off the field, you're going to leave the first team in there for just a tad bit, just to exactly see what he can do with the first team. So this is really a make it or break it for Kenny at this point in time. We got to see if he's going to be able to utilize it and step up to the plate.
What do you mean, make it or break it?
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's
come on, man.
No, I'm telling you, it's
He's
make it or break
it.
it. No. What I'm saying is whether or not he's going to be delegated to third string, or he just went ahead and showed block.
My question to you is, we saw him last week against third stringers. It was mainly 1, 2, 3 ball out, 1, 2, 3 ball out, right?
Right.
Because of the offensive lineman that was in front of him. I actually give Canada and Tomlin credit for the game plan that they had for when he came in. Do you think if he goes out there and let's say they got him in the shotgun, they have him longer drops, and he goes out there and kills it, do you think there's a chance he starts week 1?
No.
Nope.
No.
But what I disagree with TA was that I don't necessarily think that he has to be thrust in there right away, and it's either your third string or second string. I think I still fall back to what we were talking about earlier, is that I think probably by game 5 he'll end up being the starter, but I think they're going to take it easy with him. But the other thing is, and maybe we could talk about this too, is I don't know. This is just my opinion, but I think they're going to trade Mason Rudolph.
I do too.
This second half of this coming game is going to be his film.
My honest to God opinion is if the Steelers didn't have that early Thursday night game against Cleveland, we really wouldn't be talking about this. I think it would be more of a QB competition to start. And I think that kind of schedule quirk threw a wrench in the game plan, because you can't have a rookie quarterback go out there and play 3 games and, on short weeks. It doesn't happen. You're setting up for failure. Now, after they get past that Thursday night game, right? I think if things are questionable, I think you're going to hear the heat turn up on should Kenny Pickett be the starter, especially if he continues to go out there and does what he did last week.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
Oh, just TA just sent me a quick. He had some internet problems, so he'll be back on. So keep rolling with it. Anyhow, speaking of which, hey, welcome back, buddy.
He's back.
By the way, here's a negative plug for Frontier. They stink. And just to go ahead and comment on what you were saying, this is really a make or break for him as whether he's going to be third string or second string, because you can't tell me they're not looking at shopping Mason. And it all depends on what Kenny does in the next 2 games on whether or not they make Mason expendable. That's it. That's bottom line.
Well,
they don't want to have Mason hanging around here.
I'll agree with that.
I think we all agree with that. I think we all know what's going on.
Yeah.
So
one thing
it's make it or break it time for Kenny.
One thing that actually worries me.
We'll give you that, TA.
One thing that actually worried me, watching the game, that defensive line. I know Tyson didn't play, Ojanobi didn't play, Hayward didn't play, but those guys up the middle were getting gashed in the run game again.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. And this is honestly, because I'm going to tell you, I went back and I watched that game 3 times to watch this. And where our biggest weakness is inside linebacker. Now, granted, the defensive line still need a little bit of work as far as their gap control goes, but those inside linebackers are horde, man. I mean, I cannot believe that Flores came out today and said that Bush is having a great camp. Watching that game.
What do you want him to say? This guy sucks?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
We're going to keep playing him.
He's not going to say that.
Look, I understand that, but I tell you what, sometimes I get tired of the political.
Do you think Brian Flores was like, he looks at Bush, he's like, here's a guy that's playing really well. He's got a pedigree. No, he knows he fucking sucks. I apologize.
Yeah.
But he can't say that publicly to the media.
No.
Yeah, he can.
No, he can't.
Why can't he? Why can't he? Why do we have to be politically correct? We just said it. Why can't he say it?
Because he's his position coach. And if he said that, Devin Bush would go home and he would cry and probably retweet some cats dying.
And let me ask you a question. What's saying that Flores didn't already tell him that behind closed doors?
I tell you what, I would put money that he told me effing sucked. But he can't say it to the media. As much as we want Brian Flores to come out here and publicly disgrace a guy that was a first-round pick who, judging by his interviews, doesn't even want to play for the Steelers anymore, he can't do it. He can't.
So now here's the question. So inside that linebacker room, you've got Robinson, who is slated as an inside linebacker, but we've seen him coming off the edge. He did a lot better than what Tezuka did. He's still a little vulnerable in pass coverage. I mean, really, the only inside linebacker that even had a showing was Miles Jack. Buddy Johnson, he was always by the ball. He just wasn't making the play on the ball. That's going to be our weakness. Because remember, we only got 3 down linemen.
You know what I think needs to happen? Is if what they're seeing in camp with Bush, and Spillane's a cool story, all this other stuff.
And by the way, sorry, CJ, for all you listeners out there, JT's a little bored with us. He's playing Yahtzee in the background in case you wondered what that rattling was.
Anyway, I think there needs to be a fundamental change. And you need to look at your strengths. You need to look at your weaknesses. And how can we make this defense better, right? You have Tyson Alualu, right? You have Ojanobi, right? You have Hayward. Why has there not been this talk about making the move to a 4-3?
Why would you do that?
Because then instead of running out someone like a Devin Bush, then on your outside you would have JJ and Highsmith. It'd almost be like a 5-1 hybrid, a 5-1-5, where you can move Allen or someone like that into that hybrid middle linebacker position. It'd be a very interesting thing. And right now I have more confidence in Marcus Allen than I do Devin Bush.
Well, and I think you're going to see that. I think that's why they were going ahead and experiment with more DBs on the field and eliminate one of those linebackers and bring in an extra DB or two and maybe even potentially run more dime because our DBs did not seem to have a problem tackling this week.
No.
So whether or not they can keep that up all year, that's another question. But I don't necessarily agree with going to a 4-3. I think that opens us up too much. And I just can't see Miles Jack keeping up with the slot wide receiver on every play.
Fair enough.
They'll expose him.
I do think though that if Bush continues to play like this, they will make adjustments. I trust Tomlin. I trust Flores that they're smart defensive coaches, that they will make the changes. But how disheartening was it to hear Devin Bush say, well, if I don't stick around here, I'll still be in the NFL?
Well, I was kind of wondering that too on that comment. And I was trying to figure out which one of the 31 teams needed a water boy.
That's enough on the inside linebackers.
Yeah, right. By the way, guys, I need to apologize. That was me with the Yahtzee, as you said. Thanks for catching that.
Yahtzee.
Well, let's talk about Yahtzee, the wide receiver room. Is that not a Yahtzee?
Shake it up, turn around.
I tell you what, we've got some players, man. I mean, you said it earlier, CJ, losing Anthony Miller is definitely going to go ahead and open up a spot. But you got to figure right now you're looking at, for sure, Deontay. You're looking at Chase. You're looking at the man of the hour, which has just been unbelievable to watch, in Pickens. I mean, that guy is the real deal. I mean, it's no wonder everybody loves him. Then let's not even forget, even from the tight end standpoint, because we're going to throw him in a wide receiver aspect. Connor Hayward. My God, that kid played some ball.
Pickens after the game when he came out, when he came out after the game, he said, that last drive, he wanted Hayward on the field, right? I think that's awesome to hear, right? I was skeptical watching him at Michigan State. He was more of an H-back, but seeing his body transformation from where he was then to now, I think he's an interesting player. And he's going to be someone that I continue to watch. He's going to make the team, obviously.
Hayward?
But
you're talking about Hayward, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's kind of one of those things where he's made that body transformation. He's now going to be a tight end. If you, and anyone out there listening, I Google him at Michigan State. He looked a little overweight. He looked kind of a tweener. Now he doesn't. He put the work in this offseason. I'm very excited to see where he goes.
Well, so, all right. And I thought Boykins played phenomenal too.
Yeah, he had that very nice catch on a quick slant route where he kept the ball away from his body in the DB and showed strong hands.
The question is where is this going to leave Sims? Because that cat, I mean, the sweep for 38 yards, then he had that nice little slant pass. He had the return. I mean, that guy did all right as well.
I think if he has another game like that, dude, his chances are of climbing up the ladder. What about your boy Cody White?
I hate to say it, but I think Cody, you got to hope that Cody just gets picked up by another team. If not, it's another year on the practice squad. But the kid's shown he belongs in the NFL. There's no doubt about it. It's just he's got too much talent ahead of him to make it on this team.
Sorry, CJ, I didn't mean to cut you off there, brother. Go ahead.
No, one thing that's very interesting about Sims is he's still only 25, right? He came out of Kansas. He's still young. He's shown flashes with the Washington Commanders, right? Which it's interesting that he's not there still. But he to me kind of showed out. We've heard great things about George Pickens and everything like that. He was kind of the surprise to me that he can return, he can play wide receiver, and then the end around, right? The Swiss Army knife.
And I was just even more impressed by his theatricals on punt return. I mean, he not only faked out the cameraman, he faked out the audience. And that ball was nowhere even close.
Mm-hmm. No, he did a very nice job showing his experience in punt returns. He pretty much stole at least one, touchback. And that's kind of the things that we've seen Mike Tomlin here for a long time. He loves that stuff. His hidden yards that he talks about. He probably got 10, 15 on a spreadsheet in Mike Tomlin's offense from that.
Well, not only did we have a good game, guys, but of course, as you guys already know too, we've released some players. We had to drop 5.
Yep.
But not only did we drop 5, but we picked up 3, subtracted 1, divided by 2, and ended up with 6. I'm not quite sure how the hell they did all this math, but basically in a nutshell, we lost Doug Costin. We lost Jake Dixon, Cameron Nizell, whatever the punter's name was, Chris Owens, Nate Gillum. We've placed Carl Joseph and Anthony Miller on the injured reserve list, which seems to be growing right now. And then we signed Max Borghi and waived Master Tig. And then we also, Tuzor had a short-lived life with us because he's on injured reserve as well.
Poor skipper.
And we signed James Walters. I mean, we've got another 5 coming after this game, guys. I mean, my question is, because JT wants to know, who's that veteran guy that's going to get waived? I have to say at this time, if any veteran's going to get waived, JT, it's got to be Benny Snell.
Wow. I don't know. Everybody seems to think he's pretty entrenched in the number 2 position there, man. I mean, I'm kind of, yeah. Well, I don't know. I think Steelers.
I think Benny Snell's safe, and this is his last safe year. And the only reason I say that is he serves a purpose. Short yardage back, someone that's bigger, right?
Somebody we can blame for not making 4th and 1 again?
Well, when everyone knows what your play call is.
It shouldn't matter, should it?
It should. It very much should, Mr. Canada. But no, I look at him. I think he's safe. I think he's going to make the roster. The biggest thing that I saw was they've pretty much, in this round of cuts, they've handed Percy Harvin the punting job again. That's kind of what I took from it.
Oh, did you think they weren't, CJ?
I thought they were going to have a real competition.
Well, they did. They gave the kid a chance. He failed. Bring in the guy who's booming 60-yarders right now in camp.
Tell you what, Percy Harvin has the consistency of Jello.
You know what? That was last year. Kid's got a year underneath his belt. He went through a lot of ups and downs last year with the loss of his father, NFL, trying to make it, a little overweight, probably didn't take it serious. I look for different things to happen from this kid this year.
I would have rather made him sweat a little bit and continue
All
to
right.
work.
Well,
That's enough on putting, though.
Let's just drop back and punt on that subject. But anyhow, yeah, I mean, this game this could be like kind of as TA puts it, the make it or break it. I think you're going to see a lot out of this game. Going to see that a lot of the starters coming up. This is a one shot, and then the third game is just going to be okay. Last chance for you guys that you're on the bubble. But yeah, man, coming up again, another Saturday game, 7 p.m. This time we're at TIAA Bank Field. Boy, you think Acrisure is hard to say. But anyhow.
Hey, just ask Bob Pompanini. Did you guys catch that? Why he was talking to Art?
Acrisure Stadium.
He didn't even say Acrisure Stadium. He then turned around and says, well, everybody here at Heinz Field. And I'm like, oh, you do realize you're talking to the owner, don't you, Bob? You think you could show him respect and give him the name that he just, signed with?
Well, speaking of Bob, he'll be back along with the man with big hands and a small head, Charlie Batch, for his quarterback insight, along with on the sidelines. We've got Missy Matthews. And then will Max be back?
Oh,
for KDKA broadcast. That's a local CBS. Hey, you can also catch it on the radio, guys, too. So for those of you having trouble getting it, can't stream it or whatever, you can listen to it on the Steelers radio network. If you have the Steelers app, you can catch it right there. But anyhow, any of the Steelers radio network affiliates, DVE, and then if you're locally here in Indiana County, you'll be able to catch it on WDAD 1450 AM here locally as an affiliate as well too. But hey, you're going to catch our guy Bill Hillgrove along with Craig Wolfley and Max as sideline reporter for the radio broadcast. So what do you think, guys? What's coming up?
Let's get everyone in there. Let's let them play their series. Let's get them the hell out. Let's keep everyone healthy. We're seeing around the league right now, we're seeing numerous injuries to key players, right? And things you don't want to see. And then secondly, I as we kind of talked about earlier, I want to see Kenny.
Stop.
Okay.
Wait, stop. Why does everybody get so crazy about injuries in preseason? Just because it's non-meaningful, it doesn't mean if you win or lose. It doesn't matter if it's the first game of the year or the last game of the year. Injuries happen. That's just the nature of football. So to say get our starters out, hell no, I want them in there pounding because that's really the only way you're going to be game ready. Ask Chuck Noll. Ask him how he used to run
camp. Ask the Ravens last year when they had 13 people tear their ACLs.
And last time I checked, they still did all right.
Did they though? They lost so many players in the preseason.
They were right there.
They lost
going
their
down
entire
to the
running back room.
They were right down there to the stretch. And maybe that's due to their conditioning.
So you mean to say you're not going to feel bad if we put Najee out there and he blows an ACL and is out for the rest of the year and God knows when, that you're not going to say he shouldn't have been in there that long?
Nope. Can't say that, JT.
I think you're the minority on that one.
Nope.
I can't say that
because JT, at the end of the day, whether he plays 3 snaps or 30 snaps, he's got to get ready for game one. And whether it's going to happen this game, next game, or the game after, it's going to happen. We can't predict that, just no more than you can predict me walking out and getting hit by a bus tomorrow. I mean, it's ludicrous. You want to get these guys ready and in football shape. Forget about all this injury talk. That's why it's the next man up mentality.
No, I understand what you're saying, but I just think losing people in August in a preseason game that literally the only reason they're playing, let's be honest, the only reason they're playing is so they can sell season tickets an extra game or two. That's it. Oh, bullshit.
No,
you know it. You know it.
No, because
they could get more done in joint practices than they can in a preseason game.
In game shape, period. You're trying to get in
you could do that in joint practices. The whole thing's dumb. We know it. You know it. You can't
even do that now, CJ, because you've only got so many days you can put pads on. And even during the regular season, there's only so many weeks you can put pads on because it's all about the safety of the players. And don't get me wrong, I'm all about the safety of the players. We need to step it up. This is a gladiator sport, but injuries happen, and you cannot predict when they're going to happen.
We're gonna agree to disagree on this one for the sake of time, but I think we both agree that we want to see better offensive line play.
What was wrong with
From
the
our
offensive
guys.
line play from last time besides James Daniels not hitting a couple assignments?
I
Other
mean,
than
the pass protection was horrible for all three guys.
it had its spotty moments, but the run looked pretty good.
I mean, yeah, but there's always room for improvement. And
Oh,
at the end of the
absolutely.
day,
But I can't give them improvement, CJ, because I'm only going to play them 3 series. They'll get better practice in practice.
no, I agree with that. I'm actually
No, you don't. You
disappointed.
just
Yes,
you
I do.
disagree.
I literally said that I would rather them be playing. I would rather them not play and have controlled scrimmages and joint practices. I think it's dumb that they're not having joint practices this year. I think
right.
it's a
I
travesty.
missed that. Used to be you used to bring the Redskins up every year, man.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
I think
right.
they're missing out on a lot of growth.
So besides the offense, where else do you want to see growth?
I think then obviously the inside linebacker position needs to play better.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I think we need to see someone that wants to step up in the secondary. Right? We know what we have in the safety position, but quarterback wise, with Weatherspoon being hurt and kind of dinged up early on, who wants to step up? Who wants to play? It's going to be a very interesting game, honestly. And Trevor Lawrence, say what you want, he still has something to prove.
Well, talk about stepping up. I mean, in the secondary, I think that's the least of our worries right now. Arthur Millette has showed that in his second year with the Steelers, he has taken on a leadership role. Pierre, the only thing that worries about me is the same thing last year. He looks great in preseason, but come regular season, he falls off. So that's still yet to be determined. Other than that, I mean, you got maybe the only one who really needs to worry about it is Justin Lane, because that cat has not showed up at all.
Oh, he's gone. He's
and
gone.
you still
He's
got
gone.
Trey Norwood, who has done a great job. DeMonte Kazi's done a great job. I think if really you want to know what we need to watch is, can we stop the run? Period. We got E88, and then what's Robinson. We need to see if we can stop those guys. If we can't, it's going to be another long season with them running the ball on us. Other than that, I think everything is starting to shape up rather nicely, including, and I cannot believe I'm going to say this, Canada's offense.
35 points. I give him credit for that. As much as I hated that 4th and 1 play action call, I'm going to give him credit for everything else that man did.
He actually called a good game, so I got to give credit where credit is due. All right, guys. With that being said, looks like we lost JT to a little bit of audio and internet. So we're going to go ahead and just want to give a shout out to Steelers Nation. You can follow us on social media, Steelers Nation 724. Check us out. Send us your comments. Tell us how bad I suck, how bad CJ's great, how JT needs to quit playing Yahtzee in the middle of the damn show. We want to hear from you guys. Also, we're going to leave you with one last thing outside the realm. Deshaun Watson. Tell me about it, CJ.
I hate speaking about it. I hate talking about it. I hate thinking about it. 11-game suspension. He'll be eligible to return to the Browns facility after 6 weeks. So he can start practicing then, limited. Then he got a $5 million suspension. I found it very interesting, though, that both the PA in the NFL commissioner's office agreed to this. I think from a PR standpoint, from both sides, it looks good. The NFL can sit there and say, you know, we didn't like the first ruling, we tacked on 5 games. And then Deshaun Watson can go out there and say, you know, I made a mistake, which he didn't do. He did the complete opposite, which I don't want to get into. His response to this is a joke. But we'll leave it at this. The Browns are in serious trouble for a team that has a very good defense, good skill position players, a good O-line, and now Josh Dobbs is one hit away from being their starting quarterback. That Josh Dobbs.
That Josh Dobbs. Well, hey, yeah, they went from being one of the favorites in the AFC North to bottom of the barrel. There you go. Believe everything in the media. They may as well not even play this year.
Which means that they'll probably run the ball down our throats. And they'll probably be like 5 and they'll probably go 7-4 without Deshaun.
Nick Chubb us to death.
How funny actually, guys, in all seriousness, how funny would it be if they were to go like 7-4 without him, and then he comes back and he doesn't win a game? Just because think about it, he hasn't played in over a year and a half.
I don't know. I think it's going to be more funnier when Baker Mayfield takes the to the Super Bowl.
Print the tickets.
That will be entertaining, man. No doubt. Who's TA, what did you say today? You texted something to that effect. You thought what?
Yeah, basically, with the latest and greatest that, Panthers will be in the Super Bowl before the Browns will be. And Baker will end up leading them there. And they'll have no choice but to say, I'm sorry.
Did you guys ever think at any point once Baker got drafted for them that you would root for him? Because I'm all on the Baker Mayfield train. All in.
I always have been. All right, guys. Well, hate to end it on Deshaun Watson and Baker Mayfield, a Steelers podcast.
It's not a happy ending.
No. Let's just put a fork in that.
That's a great happy ending for us. Another division rival who ain't making it out of the basement. Now we've only got 2 to contend with. That's a great way to end it.
Okay. Well, let's end it talking about Steelers, though. How about it? Predictions. What are you going to see? Let's round the horn, and then we'll say goodnight. We're a little over. So, CJ, what do you want to see?
Record prediction?
No, just what do you want to see?
I want to see
Saturday.
I want to see Kenny Pickett continue to build off his last start, because from a franchise standpoint, that's the most important thing we can ever see in a preseason game.
All right, Kenny Pickett train. All right, TA, what are your thoughts, man? What do you want to see?
I want to see if Matt Canada is actually, if his offense is all of what it's played out to be. I mean, he had a great showing last weekend. Can't take nothing away from him. I want to see if he can expand on that and what it really is going to look like once you throw in Deontay and Chase along with Pickens, with the other moving pieces that we discovered this past weekend, because there's a lot of talent on that offensive side of the ball. How is he going to harness it, and can he continue to put 30 points up every game?
Yeah, I agree with that, and that's what, I want to continue to see that. That was what I was hoping to see last week. I want to continue to see that too, just like you, TA. But I think I want to see a little bit better play out of defense and the linebackers and the line. I want to see that solidify a little bit. And I want to see this team come together better as a whole and see some of these starters, or I want to see these guys bubble up to the top, man. I think this is going to be the game to do it. The last game, the third game, which is now the last game, is obviously it's going to be just like who's going to make that final cut. Those on the bubble, do they make it or not, kind of thing. But this is the game where we're going to see our players and see if they shine or fail. Any final thoughts?
Nope.
Say good night, Steelers Nation.
All right. Good
Hopefully
night,
everyone
Steelers
stays
Nation.
healthy.
Yeah, there you go. I'll second that too. But yeah, great. Hey, great to be with you guys again, man. Sorry I was having a little technical difficulty with my Yahtzee Cup here and whatnot. But hey, we'll keep it running there. Talking Steelers. It's been great. Freight Train, we'll catch you soon, man. Have a great weekend. Steeler Nation, careful in the hot tub. We'll see you boys later. We're out of here.
Steelers Nation, good night.
Night, Steelers Nation.
Check back next week into the Steelers realm